How have you stayed connected to Green River College during the past 2 years or for the time you've been here?
Well, initially when I first joined Green River College, my main sort of connection with both staff and friends was through Campus Talk.
Okay.
So virtual events, any sort of Zoom or calls or anything that was sort of a community that would happen regularly, that was my main way of connecting to anyone.
I think when I first came here, I just did what every person my age would probably do. I just looked at up every Green River like Instagram accounts or Facebook accounts or whatever. I just followed and looked through like maybe past events or what Green River has been doing before the pandemic, and just to get in touch on what they have been doing.
Well, I really enjoy the atmosphere they have at the rack, so I stay there pretty much all day, every day. It's a lot of fun. I work there, and then when I'm not working, I'll go work out there, just see some of my coworker friends, some of the people that come in and work out every day. It's just nice to see them.
Social media is a great way to connect. I follow like some official official accounts from like the ODEI or the GAP or ISA, so I keep updated on new events and all the news things happening.
Being connected to the school has come with a variety of things. First of all, I've always taken my classes every quarter, so I've been in touch with my professors in the school. And second of all, I work 3 jobs on campus, so that I've been able to interact with as many people as I can in different departments. And the third thing is I'm in 8 clubs, so at least I've been able to meet different people from different walks of life.
I think honestly, I was lucky enough to be able to be part of quite a lot of communities. I think my second quarter here, I was Chief Justice for the ASGRC, and I was part of the ISO club at first. After a year, I was able to get my ASGRC President role, and it actually brought me to even more events and more communities that I was able to mingle around and learn and network from. And being part of massive amount of clubs too, like I'm the president for the Asian Student Union, which currently we have about 100 members. So being able to connect with them and being able to meet them and get to know them is absolutely wonderful. What will kind of help you build a connection among like your students and faculty to kind of help that return back to campus?
Yeah, so I think it all goes back to the students themselves. Like for me personally, I usually stay back after class and try to talk to them, maybe like a resort of any questions that I have about maybe my major or my university applications, as I said. So I think for faculties, they could have not their classes like back to back, so they don't rush between classes. So they have more time to like be there for the students, because usually like the best way to meet with your professors is right after class.
I think just having a lot of events. I know we work a lot on the Senate for creating fun events for students, and so if we could just pipe some more of those down, I think that'd be a lot of fun.
One thing I noticed is that students tend to like hang out in groups based on their nationality. Like the Vietnamese or Japanese students, they hang out with each other. So like it's really hard to break that. So one thing we can do is like to host more events where students from this nationality can like hang out with each other and learn the events gap. And ISA you're organizing, I think it's a good way for students to get to know each other outside their nationality groups.
First of all, I would like to commend the professors for their good job that they've done so far. During the pandemic, it wasn't easy for us, it wasn't easy for them. And what they could do better is maybe like just try to be flexible. I know it's very hard for them, but be flexible even outside your office hour. Just understand that some students cannot come to your office hour because probably have a class at the end of the campus on the other side, or probably have some other appointments. So be flexible as much as you can, and for them to understand that we are in this together.
I very quickly learned that, being in front of your computer for 6-7 hours a day with meetings and classes, you lose some form of social, interaction. There's some social fatigue to it. Just having events on campus to draw not only students in, but faculty. Those kind of things are things that could bring the community closer, but also help that bond as well, and push out the message that we want to ensure that there is some form of unity and growth, togetherness, I guess you could say.
When you first come into class physically, it feels like the distance barrier has been taken away, but you still feel one in a million people. So the smaller groups, that kind of helps a lot when you want to get started talking to specific people or staff.
How have your priorities shifted during the pandemic, like over the course of the pandemic?
Definitely trying to stay organized during school. I know when I'm in person, it's a lot easier to stay organized, but when
Yeah.
everything's online and there's PDFs, it's just a lot
Yeah.
harder to stay organized. So I think that's probably the biggest challenge and the thing that I've had to most adapt with.
So at the start of the pandemic, so I really like focus on making more friends and going out. But like during the pandemic, it's more like my mental health is like my top priority because the panic like unequivocally like affect us all. So yeah, my mental health is my priority in the pandemic, and it's still now.
Oh, that's a good question. My priorities have changed a lot because before the pandemic, I was an aviation major, but right now I'm an engineering major. So there's a lot of changes that have happened in my life. So I've changed how I study and plan my time and everything. So that has changed a lot, and I've also learned the art of just being there for someone and just talking to as many people as I can.
Yeah.
And also just appreciating every moment that I have with someone because you never know what's going to happen tomorrow.
Before the pandemic, I was a little bit more worried about, myself. I wasn't really thinking too much about kind of other stuff in the world. But I think the pandemic has really shined the light on the idea of making sure that other people around you are safe and okay, and also worrying about people outside of just what you have here is really important. I think that's changed drastically for me.
Well, the pandemic kind of definitely added a health priority to everyone.
That's true.
Not going out or not interacting with a lot of people to be a lot more safe, both academically, mentally, physically.
That's right.
So health definitely became much more of a priority. But after a little bit of quarantine and staying in for too long, having fun and getting interaction became again a different shift in my priorities.
What are your top priorities for this quarter or for your next quarter?
So my top priorities for this quarter is just getting as high grades as I can, and also just as making new friends as I can and supporting people around me, and also interacting with people in my clubs. And for next quarter, I'm so excited because I got accepted to UW Tacoma. So
Congrats.
that's a big milestone for me. So the next step is probably just finishing up on the remaining part of applying to the school of my major.
So this quarter, my top priorities are really just helping as much students as I can. When we went to the state legislators, one of our agendas, two of our agendas just got passed recently. We were able to get food support, we also get some mental health support as well, which is extremely nice. A lot of students don't know that there is support systems around on campus. My priority is really to get that out and get the students the support they need.
I'm gonna graduate soon, so I'm working on my transfer applications right now. Also try to balance it and still be on top of my classes, and also like try to work jobs because especially because of the pandemic, that's really been affecting my family like financially. So I'm trying to help out as best as I could.
Just staying safe, staying organized, trying to get good grades in classes. Personally, I think I do better in person. So when we move online, it's a little harder to stay, at the standard that I've set for myself, but just trying to survive. I think that's probably the best answer.
What's something that you're really hopeful for the next academic year?
For the next academic year, I'm really hopeful for the clubs picking up because it was unfortunate how many clubs died throughout the pandemic.
Yeah, that's true.
I would ask about music club, dead. Creative writing club, dead. So the clubs picking up activities and events being regular instead of virtual, that's something I'm really looking forward to.
I'm hoping like maybe future students, they can get back in person and have like events on campus the way they used to, because right now, the events could have a better turnout because maybe like a lot of students are still like online, taking online classes. So maybe like try to get the campus more alive and get more people to bring back in.
It would be nice to get the masks off. I know that's something we're talking about, but that might not be in the cards. But just seeing more people at the campus, I know sometimes I'll look outside the windows and there'll be like 3 people, and it's a little disheartening. And it'll be nice to just see, us overflowing with people at the rec. That would be a lot of fun.
First of all, getting my associates is a big milestone because I'm first generation to go to college. So it's a very big joy for my family and for everybody who's been there before me. So I'm very hopeful that I'll go to a new school, UW Tacoma, and I'll meet new friends, and I'll continue being as involved as I can, and also make new friends, and also push as hard as I can in my studies to be whatever I want to be.
I would love to be back in person, to be around friends, family, professors, faculty, whatever. I like in-person learning. I don't like studying online because I don't like the idea of waking up and then going to my computer and being in one class and a minute later being in another class. Like, I like walking to my classes. I like the interaction. I like walking out and I'm looking at the scenery and stuff. And that's really something that I really want for the near future. I'm looking forward to it. That interaction, the ability to kind of get over that social fatigue and get everyone out of there is really something I'm looking forward to. What do you feel the school could do to kind of help you with the transition from online classes to physical classes, like what we're doing now?
Maybe they could make it more flexible, because I know right now my classes in person, a lot of students like block it out right away because the idea of going back in person just terrifies them, like fully in person and being mandatory to like come in classes. So all of my classes have been really like lacking in attendance, so they could have more like social interaction, I guess, because my classes now has under 10 people in the classes. So
I think just making sure people know that we're taking precautions to be safe. I know safety is a big concern, and Green River is doing a lot to make sure people stay safe, but just making sure people understand that, hey, we are working hard to make you guys safe, and we're doing our best, and Green River is doing their best. And I think just that safety aspect, making sure people know that it's safe to come to campus, I think that'll do a lot to help that.
What the school can do is try not to like expect students are just gonna be the same as it was before. They should have this wiggle room of understanding that students also need to process the whole thing. They can't just like transition from an online setting to a fully in-person setting. So I guess the school can be a little bit graceful in whereby lectures can be both fully online and recorded. Or we can also have like recorded material and also the lecture itself, just to give students an opportunity to take part in both.
It really boils down to one, getting the connection between students and faculty, kind of narrowed down a little bit, but also the idea of professors being a bit more flexible. Because at the end of the day, you gotta remember that the pandemic caused a lot of issues. It caused issues with students finding even the money to be able to travel to school. Because a lot of them lost their jobs. They're talking about students who are maybe a little bit older, who have children, who can't find daycare. So a lot of this comes down to us needing to be more flexible in terms of what we offer and how we offer classes. You can still have hybrid classes, such as physical classes, but there needs to be some form of play with how physical, I guess you could say it is.
It's definitely a good thing to shift more into an in-person style. However, the unfortunate truth that we've become used to the virtual style of education is there. The feeling comfortable behind the screen or having everything on Canvas listed for you instead of having to check. So I would say a less sudden change would make a lot more comfortability, like the keeping Canvas as part of the assignment list, or maybe even trying to have hybrid classes for a start, then moving into fully in-person to give it a less sharp transition.